Now, I have an incredibly special guest here with me in the studio. She is a triple threat leading lady. She's an iconic TV personality.
Oh my gosh.
And she's now even a podcaster.
I am.
But on top of all of that, she's an old friend of mine. Welcome to BBC Radio Wales, Amber Davies.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. This feels special. So special.
Thank you so much for being here. We have so much to talk about.
Yeah.
But first things first, you're on tour at the minute.
I am.
How is it being back in Wales, though? Do you enjoy coming back to Wales for a little cwtch?
Honestly, it's the only reason I signed the contract.
There we go.
I knew I was coming here for a week and I thought, I'm in my homeland. It's got to be done. Best audiences. It feels right, you know?
You're saying all the right things, Amber.
I am.
Now, before we get into it, full disclosure to those listening, we have known each other for over 20 years now.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
I feel like I've known you my entire life.
Yeah.
You know?
So we grew up together in the best town in the whole world, Denbigh, in North
Shout
Wales.
out Denbigh.
Now, I know that performing obviously was a huge part of your childhood, but do you remember when musical theatre came into the picture?
It was when I started to do Amdram in TIC, which is a theatre in the community company that was run in Rill.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I started doing the three, singing, dancing and acting.
Yes.
But it all started, you know, with Leia Owen, you know.
Our wonderful singing teacher.
Our wonderful singing teacher. It all started there. And I always say this, Steph, every single time, but it was Jade, my older sister Jade, who, you know, she waved the path for me. Mm-hmm. If it wasn't for her, I just followed in her footsteps, you know. But it's all we've ever known, isn't it?
It's all we've ever known. And shall we talk about our days in the vocal group Envis? Envis, of course, means rainbow. There were 7 of us, 7 colours of the rainbow.
Yeah.
And we sang anywhere that would have us, Amber. Every chapel, every village hall, every garden party, we would be there, wouldn't we? So
Yeah, we would.
How valuable were those early performing experiences, do you think?
Do you know what? It was like being a part of a cast, you know? And I think when you learn that from a young age of you're only as good as the person standing next to you, you know, and working together, I really felt like it taught me so much about the industry now and how it's about respect and leading the way that you should. And I feel like it taught me subconsciously so much. And the hours we put in, Steph, you know, we were so committed, we were so dedicated, we had so much discipline, and I feel like it wasn't a normal childhood.
It wasn't, was it?
We were basically famous in Wales for like a year.
We were trying our best, but what I loved was we had no responsibilities. We could just focus on the singing, and we'd make our little £10 note at the end of the concert, and we were laughing all the way to the bank, Amber. We thought we were making the biggest money ever.
Well,
but it was
back in the day, we were.
We were.
Back in the day, I feel like we were raking it in.
We were trying our best. We were. But cut to then, 16-year-old Amber. Packs her bags, off she goes to London to train in musical theatre. So remind us, where did you train and what was that experience like?
So I trained at the Erdang Academy. I went at 16 years old. I knew I wasn't going to be staying and doing my A-levels. I just knew. As soon as I did my GCSEs, I thought, this life isn't for me. I need to be doing something you know, creative, because I wasn't creatively fulfilled. Learning about pi and maths, you know, just wasn't right for me.
Didn't float your boat?
No. I started going to London once a month when I was 13 to do the youth academy. So I was going back and forth to London for 3 years before I initially moved down there, which really got me in the swing of things and got me familiar with London. And my sister was down there as well, which made things 10 times easier. Best thing I could have ever done, going at that age, because I graduated by the time I was 19, you know, so I kick-started things earlier than usual, but a tough 3 years, you know, not for the weak.
Not for the weak, really preparing you. Then, of course, you were on a certain very small reality show that completely changed your life. Going from a couple of hundred people knowing who you were to millions of people. Now, the question I want to know is, when you came back to getting in that audition room after being on the telly, did you feel like you had to really prove yourself to those casting directors that you've got the talent and you've got the training to be here?
Yeah, it was I had a moment where I thought, because I graduated so young, Love Island had come up and I had no other option. Like, I just thought I may as well do it. But I remember once I'd come out and I'd gone into that first audition for 9 to 5, and I thought, this could go seriously wrong. I might have actually shut the door on this industry without me knowing, you know. But luckily, ATG, there was 2 producers, Adam and Richard, they gave me this golden ticket. They gave me my debut as Judy Burnley, and I knew I had to prove that it was worth me being there and that I deserved to be there. And I feel like you can build your reputation quite quickly in this industry, you know, and 6 years on, I'm still going.
You're still here. And as you said there, your huge West End debut, 9 to 5, the musical, Dolly Parton's musical, of course, playing Judy Burnley. How did you get through that? Because such a huge role, and as you say, the pressure was on. But looking back now, did you have the best time?
It was the best first job I could have ever wished for. You know, I had an amazing cast. I had Caroline Sheen, Natalie McQueen next to me. Caroline Sheen, she's a Welsh queen.
She
is.
Know?
It was just fabulous working with her. Dolly Parton was actually our exec producer. So I flew to Nashville to interview her. And then she came and watched our press night with Kylie Minogue. She was really, really hands-on, Dolly was. She actually sent us all a letter, handwritten letter, after our press night to congratulate us. It was amazing, you know. And then I took it on its first leg of the tour. And I was a bit wilder back in those days. I'm on tour right now, but I am not as wild. I have not got it, you know, I haven't got the stamina anymore, but it was wonderful to open it in town and then take it around the country. You know, I love tour and I love town as an equal amount.
Of course. I will never forget I got the opportunity to watch you play Judy Burnley in 9 to 5 at the Savoy Theatre. And I felt so proud, Amber, I can't even tell you. And we were walking out. I was in the queue to leave, and this older couple were in front of me. And we'd stopped by this huge poster of your face, looking beautiful as Judy Burnley. And I remember the man said, "Oh, look, yes, she was the one off the television." And his wife said, "Yeah, and who would have thought she was so fantastic?" And I remember thinking in my head, you show him, Amber. You show him what you can do. So did you feel that love? Did you feel like you'd proven your point?
I do feel like I've had to work extra hard over the years to prove my worth. And only in the past, you know, couple of years do I feel like it's paid off.
Well, stay where you are, Amber. I'm going to take you back to the 9 to 5 days because lucky for us, a live album was captured of the musical at the Savoy. So here she is singing, in my opinion, one of the hardest songs in musical theatre. This is Amber Davies with Get Out and Stay Out. Amber Davies, Get Out and Stay Out. From 9 to 5, the musical, the live album. I mean, she's still here with me on BBC Radio Wales. Amber.
That was a blast from the past.
How do you feel listening back to that?
Honestly, I feel like it's just unlocked all of my memory of that job. I loved it. And gosh, what a hard song.
Well, first of all, great score. Love the show.
Yeah.
That song is so hard. And can I just say, the nerve of you to be singing like that for a good 4 minutes and then taking it up a third for that final note. So, because the version I know from the original Broadway cast, she stays on that tonic note. So where did that come about then?
That came about in my first audition, which wasn't really an audition, it was more of a meeting where I had to just sing through the material. And I really was getting along with the MD, and we were just messing around, and I just took it up at the end, and he said, "That's staying."
And then you had to do it 8 shows a week.
8 shows a week.
For the rest of the run. Well, we're very glad that you did it because it sounds fantastic. There's a bit of a trend appearing here, Amber, of you featuring in musicals that are based on movies.
It's my whole career.
It's your whole career. You were in Bring It On, the musical, Back to the Future as well. So do you enjoy maybe being able to take a character that we recognise from a film and putting your own little spin on it?
Yeah, I think I found my niche, you know. Every musical that I've done, I've been a huge fan of the film. Otherwise, I wouldn't go in for the audition, you know.
Yeah.
But me and my family were big film people. We love films. Back to the Future for me is one of my favourite films of all time. So the fact that I was able to do it on the West End, crazy, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, I'm playing Julia Roberts now, and doing my research and watching Pretty Woman, she made it so easy for me to fall in love with Vivian.
Yeah.
And I get to portray that every single night, you know. It's a dream. We're so lucky to be able to do this. But I definitely think I need to maybe break this film musical train I'm on.
Please don't. We're enjoying it. And I was just speaking about Pretty Woman, the musical. You are on tour at the minute, touring the UK. I mean, I think the world and his dog have seen this film. But if anyone has been living under a rock, let's talk about Vivian Ward.
Yeah.
What is she like as a character to play, and what's the story here?
Do you know what? Vivian is so intelligent. She has a huge heart. She's got a big mind, strong mind, and I love playing her because she evolves so much, you know, throughout the show. The first act, I get to really play around with her because she's quite goofy. You know, she has no filter. She can kind of have word vomit quite a lot. And I love that. So Act 1, I get to really dig my teeth into that. Act 2, she becomes a lot more grounded, and you see a softer and the realer side to her. She's had a real hard life, you know, but she has never stopped. She will always get what she wants, you know. She'll always try and make ends meet. She'll always try and strive to be the better and best version of herself. And for me, I just absolutely love it. You know, the end of the film, the end of the musical, when he offers her the world materialistically, and she's like, absolutely no way. I deserve the real fairy tale. And in some way, every role that I play, I feel like I try and relate to her. Something's happened in my life that I can relate, you know? And it's just, she's a joy to play, honestly. And Ollie Saville, I'm playing opposite. He is playing Edward Lewis. He's 100 years old. He's been in the industry for years.
Let's hope he's not listening.
I always say, what was that before Christ? He is unbelievable.
He's a big talent
to work against, you know. The director basically said to us, when you're doing the scenes, you need to think of this as a two-man play. And then when we're doing the numbers, that's when it's more of a musical. And I've learned a lot on this job, you know, especially acting. When you're working against somebody like that, I have learned so much. And we've never done two shows the same, you know. Obviously, it's the same story.
Of course.
But how we deliver it is always just 1% different every single night. He really does keep me on my toes, and I love it. I love it.
Now, Bryan Adams is one of the writers of the music on this show. So I imagine then there's a slight rocky feel to the soundtrack. How has that been vocally to take on?
Yeah, it's probably my most challenging role vocally.
Okay.
I think I have about 7 songs throughout the show. That is quite a high belt.
Yeah.
So I've really had to... And I tell you what, I don't leave the stage for 2.5 hours, including speaking. And I think some people think singing is what tires you out. It's not. It's the talking. It's the script work. And combine that together, it can be, you know, it can be quite a challenge. So I have to do a lot more self-care out of work. You know, I have to be a lot more on my game, really. But I love it. I love a challenge, and I love feeling uncomfortable. I don't like being comfortable. I like to be pushed, and the score is wild. It's amazing. It's like a pop concert, you know. And it's so funny because the last day of rehearsals we were exhausted. You know, we'd done 4 weeks. This giant script, giant score. Who walks in? Bryan Adams.
No.
Yeah. We were all like that. My God, why did he have to come in today?
On the last day when we're all exhausted. What was he impressed?
He loved it.
Oh, phew.
You know, he actually said vocally it was the best version of the show he'd seen.
What
So
a compliment.
that really put, fire in our bellies, ready to open in Birmingham.
You're right, get me in that red dress.
Now.
I'm ready to go. Now, obviously, what happens on stage obviously is very important, but off stage too is important. And for those who follow you, Amber, they will know that you've started a very important series on Instagram called Rate My Dressing Room. And of course, as a touring performer, a dressing room can make or break you, can't it?
It can.
So tell me now, what is a must for a good dressing room?
First things first, it has to have a couch.
Very
Because
important.
I'm a napper. And I love an in-between show nap. So if it's got a good couch, like for me, you're halfway there already. I would love... God, I sound like such a diva.
Give me the list. What do we need?
I'd love a long-length mirror.
As a tall man, I agree with you there, Amber.
Yeah.
I need a full-length mirror too.
Yeah.
That's a great shout.
I would love a fridge.
Handy.
I would love... these are extras, but a kettle and a microwave would be unbelievable.
Yes.
But they're the top dogs.
That would
type
take
of
it up
dressing room.
to the next level.
Yeah. In this specific one, I actually have a portable heater, which is absolutely wonderful because it's freezing at the minute. And I'm the coldest person alive. I need the heater on in the summer. So I definitely need it on at the minute.
I'll get on the phone to some of these venues. Obviously, you have a couple of months left touring with Pretty Woman, but
Yes.
where you've been so far... Who's winning so far? Where has the best dressing room been? That's what I want to know.
Edinburgh. It was a little bit old and there was some purple tones.
Lovely.
But it was really, really big, and there was a really big bathroom, lovely bathroom. And because I have visitors in my dressing room all the time, so I Piccadilly Circus in there. Honestly, people don't leave me alone. I think, guys, get out my dressing room. Honestly,
I love you too much, Amber.
I come in at the interval and half the swings are in there doing a workout. I was like,
They need the space.
they do.
They need the space. Now, listen, I said earlier that you're an iconic TV personality. We know this. And we got to see your personality shine at the start of this year because you were one of the celebrity contestants on Dancing on Ice.
Dun, dun,
Now, listen,
dun.
rehearsing a show is hard, but I imagine that rehearsing for Dancing on Ice was even harder.
It was the toughest time of my life, Steph. I'm
Was
not
it really?
joking, yeah. So I was doing 8 shows a week on tour.
No.
Then I was doing 2 hours of ice skating training a day, and that was also before a double.
Behave. So you were skating for 2 hours in the morning, going and doing an afternoon and an evening show.
And then I'd have to get up. So I wouldn't get back until, say, 11 o'clock. I'd be getting up at 8 o'clock to go the next morning to do another 2 hours. I was on my bum.
This is why you deserve the best dressing room, Amber. You deserve that couch. I'd need that couch.
Yeah. The thing is, I knew what I was signing up for, and I knew it was going to be intense, especially that doubling up. As soon as we started live shows with Dancing on Ice, I wasn't doing the show anymore. I'd clocked out, paid sabbatical.
Yeah.
But those 3 months, it was from October till December. Wow.
That's a lot.
I lost my social life, put it like that. Ben didn't have a girlfriend for 3 months.
Well, let's talk about him, because I was just about to say it was so lovely to see your family and friends in the audience cheering you on there at the side of the ice. And yeah, can we talk about a certain lovely man called Ben Joyce?
Honestly, he's just the best. He's the best. So we met on Back to the Future. He was my Marty McFly.
Of course.
And I was his mother.
Yeah, so you heard that right. So Amber was playing his mother in the show. So that was an interesting dynamic. How did that work for you?
Well, when Marty goes back to 1955, he meets his mother as an 18-year-old.
Right.
So I was actually young Lorraine. She didn't know he was her son.
Going to be her son, of course.
Yeah. So it's weird, but it was oh so right. It was oh so right, honestly. We were brought up very similar, both from Wales, very, very similar upbringing. It was a bit crazy. And there was just no going back. I felt like this is the person that I choose and I want to be with. He's my best friend. And yeah. And he's so talented, you know.
Yeah, too much. Let's stop talking about it now. But if you are listening, Ben Joyce, hello. Lovely leading man, Ben Joyce, who's got a great career going for himself as well. He's fantastic. Amber Davies, you are an absolute star. It's been such a joy to catch up with you. I can't tell you how proud I am of you and everything you're achieving. So please keep working hard. And it's been lovely to have you here on BBC Radio Wales.
Thank you so much.